From your favorite source for Chicago White Sox talk, delivering news, interviews, analysis, and more. This is the Sox Machine podcast with your hosts, Jim Margulis and Josh Nelson.
Thanks, Rob, and welcome to Sox Machine Live, a special edition of the show as it is April 1st, 2021, as we will be pre-gaming up to opening day for the Chicago White Sox as they are in Anaheim to face Los Angeles Angels for the first game of the 2021 season. I'm your host, Josh Nelson. Joining me is the co-host of the Sox Machine podcast and managing editor of SoxMachine.com. It's Jim Margulis. And Jim, happy opening day.
Happy opening day to you too.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting so far. It's kind of weird because typically for the White Sox, they play, if they're at home, around 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock. You know, we might be recapping opening day, but because they're on the West Coast this year, they're not going to be starting until 9 o'clock Central Time. So it's going to be a late night. And we've already seen a lot of action across Major League Baseball. Thank you to the Milwaukee Brewers for their come from behind victory against the Minnesota Twins. Yeah, Alex Colomé blowing the save. So already not a great first impression for the former Chicago White Sox closer.
Detroit immediate dividends for White Sox fans still.
Yes,
it's so
true.
Generous.
So generous. Detroit surprising Cleveland. Miguel Cabrera still having the Oppo Taco power, hitting a home run through the blizzard. And I don't know what Kansas City and Texas played today. That really wasn't baseball, but it was entertaining as the Royals won 14-10. So as we all thought, as of right now in the American League Central, Kansas City and Detroit are on top of the standings. But again, the White Sox haven't played yet, so we are going to quickly preview as far as tonight's game, bring you tonight's starting lineups and the pitching matchups. And in a little bit, we're going to be joined by our very good friends from the 108. Beef Loaf, Chirizi, and My Sox Summer will be joining us, taking us all the way up to first pitch of tonight's home opener. And let's take a look, Jim, at tonight's starting lineups. We'll start with the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox starting lineup will be Tim Anderson at shortstop leading off. Batting second in right field will be Adam Eaton. Batting third, the reigning American League MVP, playing first base, Jose Abreu. Batting cleanup, starting at third base, will be Yohan Moncada. Batting fifth at catcher, Yasmani Grandal. Batting sixth and playing left field will be Leury Garcia. It's starting in center field. Batting seventh is Luis Robert. Batting eighth at DH is Zach Collins. And batting ninth at second base is Nick Madrigal. And that is your tonight's starting lineup for the Chicago White Sox. And Jim, when looking at the starting lineup, and Tony La Russa said this in his press conference yesterday, there will be no Andrew Vaughn on the home opener. Or I should say not the home opener, but for opening day. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that since the White Sox did add him to the roster and they're not using him right away?
I'm fine with it just because it's, we talked about it before that, in left field, opening day, wanting to get off at a good start, you may as well put the experienced outfielder out there for the sake of your pitchers.
Sure.
So putting Leury Garcia out in left field, that's fine. Having Zach Collins against the righty, that's also fine. It's a little bit disappointing because, we want to see Andrew Vaughn. We want to see how he reacts to upper level pitching of any sort in games that are designed to count and potentially embarrass him. Just to learn more about the hitter, his skills, where he's at. But Tony La Russa, he has a history of putting players in position to succeed no matter what, or, via unusual means. He's also the manager doing typical first week manager stuff of trying to get everybody action. So this is probably a case for Zach Collins too, a good matchup, a reason to play him at DH and batting him there. So it's probably just as much about Zach Collins in a good spot for him as it is having Andrew Vaughn maybe sitting this one out and waiting for the lefty next day.
Yeah, and La Russa also mentioned this might be the only game that Zach Collins starts in his 4-game series, which is a bit odd to pre-announce that. Hey, Zach, you're going to start on opening day, but then you're going to sit the next 3 games. It's kind of hard to get into a rhythm. When I want to say
I saw mention of him catching Keuchel, but I'm not sure. Let me look that up real quick.
But so maybe that he was just perhaps referring to DH.
Yeah, okay. Possibly, but I could be wrong. So
yeah, I think it would make sense that Collins or Mercedes catches at least one of these 4 games and not have Yasmani Grandal start all 4 games at catcher.
Yeah, catching Lance Lynn on Saturday. That's the one.
Okay, well, that would be interesting. As far as Lance Lynn's first start with the White Sox and pitching to Zach Collins, we'll see how that relationship goes. And again, as the DH spot, I figure that could be Andrew Vaughn, or as Lewis has said, he wants everybody to get some action in this first series against the Angels. So we could see maybe Jake Lamb. We can maybe see Billy Hamilton get one of the starting spots in the outfield this weekend. So White Sox fans, be flexible, because the lineup sure is going to be in this opening series against Los Angeles Angels. As far as the Angels and as far as lineup for tonight against the Chicago White Sox, it's going to start at leadoff for David Fletcher at second base. He just signed a new 5-year contract extension with the Angels. Batting second at DH is Shohei Ohtani. Batting third, the best player in the league, Mike Trout, will be starting in center field. Batting cleanup at third base is Anthony Rendon. Batting fifth and starting left field is Justin Upton. Batting sixth at first base is going to be Albert Pujols, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about Pujols and his past relationship with Tony La Russa in tonight's broadcast. Batting seventh, former Detroit Tigers shortstop, now with the Angels, Jose Iglesias. Batting eighth at catchers, Max Stasey, and batting ninth in right field is Dexter Fowler for the Angels. And Jim, this lineup is very top-heavy, in my opinion. Fletcher has always given Lucas Giolito issues, which we'll talk about that when we preview the game from Lucas Giolito's point of view. But Ohtani, Trout, Rendon, Upton, that is a gauntlet of 4 hitters, and we'll see what Albert Pujols can provide as far as in the 2021 season. But it should be a little bit easier for Lucas Giolito to navigate as far as the bottom third of tonight's lineup. When you look at the Angels lineup, who scares you the most?
Well, Mike Trout I think, is the obvious answer. But beyond him, like watching Ohtani in spring training, he looked like
he had a great spring training.
Yeah, so I think if we take Trout as a given, then I think Ohtani is the guy I'm watching, just because, one, it's a lot of fun. He's just a sensational athlete, but also just, getting past the injury, trying to see him try to be his best self. I don't necessarily want to see him do that against the White Sox, but I think it's good for baseball if he's able to, harness the sum of his talents again. So otherwise, reminds me very much of a Cleveland Indians lineup of recent vintage. Like you said, top heavy, just a little bit of a mishmash at the bottom, trying to find guys who have some life in them. So, it's probably similar to watching any kind of AL Central game, like just easy innings and hard innings, just ones you can let up, ones where you can, you might want to cover your eyes and kind of alternates back and forth.
And let's take a look as far as from Lucas Giolito's perspective and his career against Los Angeles Angels. This will be his 4th career start against the Angels. In his past 3 starts, he's been very good against the Angels. 19 innings pitched, has only allowed 14 hits, 7 earned runs, walking 8 and striking out 22. He is undefeated against the Angels, and he carries a 3.32 ERA. Here are the hitters that have given Lucas Giolito problems in his past starts against the Angels. I mentioned David Fletcher, who will be leading off for the Angels tonight. He is 4 for 10, and Giolito has said in past interviews that Fletcher is one of the more, quote, annoying hitters for him to face in all of Major League Baseball. Shohei Ohtani has had good success against Giolito. He's 4 for 9 with a home run. Dexter Fowler has also had good success. A couple of times he's faced Giolito. He's 3 for 5 with a home run. And the one time that Trout has faced Giolito, he has gone 1 for 4 with a home run. But again, really have to focus as far as the first 2 hitters of the Angels lineup in Fletcher and Ohtani, Jim, because those 2 have given Giolito the most problems. And as you just mentioned, as far as navigating through the lineup, I feel that if Giolito can keep Fletcher and Ohtani off the base paths, it'll make it a lot easier to face Trout and Rendon.
Yeah, that's, I think, the game plan. And the funny thing is, when you mention Giolito, and when we talk about Giolito, especially against opponents not in the Central divisions, who he didn't face at all in 2020, you're basically talking about 2 very different years, or maybe like one decent year, one awful year, one amazing year. So when you look at a small sample size against opponents and trying to figure out what he looked like against a team on a given day, you just have to, I think it's worth breaking it down in his case based on the year. In 2019, in his good year of those 2 years, he won, he didn't win both games he started, but he had 2 great starts, striking out 17 over 13 innings, only 4 walks. The starts in 2018 was relatively mediocre. So here's the case where, based on the last 2 times he saw him, he looked like the Giolito that we know. And I would hope that, if anything, maybe I'm a little bit hesitant about Giolito on opening day, just because those haven't necessarily been the easiest introductions. But otherwise, it's if you just set aside that as bad timing and small samples, then should be fun.
Let's take a look at the Angels pitcher tonight, and it'll be Dylan Bundy. And Bundy has had great success against the Chicago White Sox in his career. He's appeared in 5 games. He has started 4 games against the White Sox. And in those starts, he has pitched 28 innings, allowing 21 hits, just 12 earned runs, 6 walks, and striking out 31. He has carried a 3.86 career ERA against the White Sox, and he is undefeated against the White Sox with a 4-0 record. The hitters that have given Bundy problems: Jose Abreu is 6 for 13 with a home run against Dylan Bundy. If you are playing DraftKings tonight, make sure you have Jose Abreu in your lineup. He likes to hit Dylan Bundy. But the only other hitters in this White Sox lineup that have actually gotten a hit against Dylan Bundy are Tim Anderson, which Anderson's 3 for 12 in his career against Bundy, and Lurie Garcia, who is 1 for 3. When it comes to Dylan Bundy, for White Sox fans watching him pitch and try and navigate through the White Sox lineup tonight, what should White Sox fans have to keep in mind, Jim?
Well, it's been a couple of years since the White Sox saw him, and also, with Anaheim, that's a kind of a new form for him and a new organization. Let's do some time traveling. The last time that Dylan Bundy and Lucas Giolito squared off, the only time they squared off, was May 24th, 2018. The Orioles beat the White Sox 9-3. Giolito lasted 4 outs, giving up 7 runs and 9 base runners, 2 homers over 1 1/3 innings. Bundy went the distance, striking out 14. He gave up a 3-run homer to, can you guess?
Jose Abreu?
Close. Jose Rondon.
Oh.
So, 2 hits. One of them was a 3-run homer by Jose Rondon. Otherwise, they had 3 other base runners. So it was a classic dismal Giolito performance from that year, a classic dismal 2018 White Sox performance. Yeah, it wasn't fun. So this one should be better. I'm looking at the lineup for the White Sox. It was Yoan Moncada 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Abreu was 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Tim Anderson 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Adam Engel 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. The other guys were Yolmer Sanchez, Daniel Polka, Rondon, Omar Narvaez, and Charlie Tilson making his first start.
Good times. A lot of those guys are on our Sox Machine surviving
or
the
I should say that was
rebuild
not his first start, because his first start was personally painful. I should say his first complete game, the first game that he started and finished in the majors.
Yeah, I forgot that Charlie Tilson did not survive his first game, but yeah, that was a long time ago. So hopefully the White Sox have a lot more success against Dylan Bundy tonight. And let's talk about, as far as more into this game and our opening day traditions and how we're getting ready for first pitch. That's going to be at 9:00. And now joining us are our good friends from the 108s, My Sox Summer, Beef Loaf and Chirizi. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome.
Hello.
What's up, boys? Happy opening day.
What's up?
Well, we couldn't be talking about Dylan Bundy without bringing.
I saw that. I like it.
I'm repping. I want to make sure that I
got the mug, got the shirt, got the hoodie.
We got to do a little podcast. You go on the Sox Machine website, you can get a shirt for $20 shipped. You can't beat that deal. That's a deal. You add that $350 extra swag pack.
Put that right in there.
Oh my God, it's great.
Well, he bought the last shirt, so
I bought the last 2X. So
yeah, and you had a gigantic size that fit My Sox Summer. I can't believe
3X. They even got 3X. I could get bigger. I could have
sewed
3
together
more dinners.
3 shirts and sent it to My Sox Summer.
Last 3, and they gave it to him all at once.
They still only charged him $15. That's how nice these dudes are.
Guys, I just figured I would do an ad read as soon as I came in. Just to put an ad right in the middle of the Sox Machine. I owe you guys. Jim, the last time you saw me, I was probably a little intoxicated, so I'm just trying to make it better,
In person or through streaming?
Oh, no, I was streaming. It was actually 2 times ago that you saw me, man, but I was the whiskey got me, as my dad said. So, yeah, I apologize for that.
Well, we were just talking about Dylan Bundy, and I have to ask the biggest Dylan Bundy fan in the world, Beef Loaf, how he feels about this matchup for the White Sox tonight going up against Bundy.
I hope they clobber Dylan Bundy. I think they're going to clobber Dylan Bundy. In fact, I'm so not even worried about Dylan Bundy. I liked him when he was a post-hype prospect because I think I like all non-White Sox post-hype prospects. And then you can take credit for the ones that are good, and the ones that stink, then you just forget. You didn't even talk about those. But I was really intrigued by you guys going through the lineup and then Jim noticing like, up in front, this is like an American League Central lineup where it's like it's not very deep. And I was thinking, yeah, it's good, then old and bad in the middle, and then just plain bad at the end. And it was like, yeah, that's perfect. That is like the Cleveland lineup right there, last 5 years.
So you're feeling good. You're feeling good for the White Sox against Bundy tonight. Any particular reason?
You know what? You know why? Because a while back I told Teresa E that I thought Zach Collins should get a shot, and I thought he should DH and hit eighth. And here we are 2.5 months later, opening day, and he's DHing and hitting eighth. So I don't know. I just feel like even without Eloy Jimenez, there's enough firepower to get past the Dylan Bundy. I'm not as confident when they face a real high-end pitcher, but he's kind of a fake high-end pitcher. He's kind of a guy who had a little bit of results, but I don't believe it, even though I love him.
All right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how upset are we about the lineup? Where are we on that? 1 to not caring, 10 to livid.
I don't get too upset about the lineups. Like the individual days lineup doesn't have as much of an effect as I think a lot of people think it does. And in this case, like you're stacking as many lefties in there as possible, right? I mean, that's what it looks like. It looks like, you're worried about Dylan Bundy's really slow slider, and you want to get as many left-handed bats in there to combat that as possible. And I don't necessarily want to see Lurie Garcia very often, but if this is a game where he could actually hit the ball, why not use him?
Yeah, I'm not. I like was watching you guys and listening to the lineup, and I wasn't as mad as I thought I was going to be. So I'm a solid 5. Like I was like, this actually, like I was literally thought to myself, wow, did I just get zocked out? Oh, I'm back.
Yep.
No, I was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like I was like expecting horror, and I was like, this, you know what? I can see this. I can see this actually kind of working. Kind of working.
Did you guys notice how weirdly symmetrical the lineup is? It goes right, left, right, then SSS, right, left, right. It's like some code when you're playing Super Mario Brothers. You get the extra life or something. It was really weird. I was looking at it, I'm like, I wonder if they did it only by that and didn't realize, like, okay, Jose Abreu hits third. The rest of this stuff is going to be this symmetrical weird thing, so the bullpen can't get us kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember hearing about Tony La Russa wanting to bat Moncada cleanup because he liked batting a switch hitter fourth, but I didn't realize he liked just stuffing the middle of the lineup with as many switch hitters as possible. So
that's what it looks like. It's weird.
Well, we did get a question in the comments section on the YouTube stream. Casey's asking, looking at some bets for tonight, Lucas Giolito over or under 6.5 strikeouts. And guys, I have to say, the way that if he continues to pitch like he did in spring training, to me, this feels like an easy over. I would go over 6.5 strikeouts for Giolito.
I think you gotta wonder how many times does Justin Upton bat, and then other than those at bats, you need to get the rest of those strikeouts. So like, if he bats 4 times, you only need 2.5 more strikeouts, man. I'm in on that bet.
Yeah, David Fletcher batting leadoff is the only thing that's really getting in the way there.
Yeah. See, he's a high contact guy, and so is Jose Iglesias. But other than that, this is a strikeout lineup. I mean, you can get a bunch of them in this one. So I would go over as well. I totally agree.
All right. How about you, my Sox Summer? Are you taking the over or under?
Over. As the resident batting expert from the 108, definitely take the over on that one. I'm like, unless I was in my head, I'm going, if he throws a perfect game, he's only going to get 9 strikeouts. And then I'm like, no, dummy. That's 3 times 7. That's 27. So, like, I figured it out really fucking quick, though, Josh. So don't you worry about it.
Well, I'm glad. Well, this is a From the 108 type of show. So I always have to, I always enjoy this segment on your guys' podcast and the live shows that we have. But I have to ask, what is everyone drinking tonight before opening day?
I'll start first because I'm boring. Water.
Oh, Jim, you got to get hydrated before the game. I mean, this is My Sox Summer. We were on another thing last night. My Sox Summer was talking about how he's going to fall asleep in the third inning. If you get nice and hydrated, you will not fall asleep in the third inning. You will stay up for the entire game. So I respect it.
Yeah, I was running around doing a bunch of stuff, and going around our house, chasing the dog and such, and realized, it's podcast. Got this reflexively water just to make sure I don't, spend half the time coughing. And then I realized that this is a 108 show, and realizing that I came severely underprepared. So sorry about that.
It's all right. My Sox Summer, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a little Guava Squad from our friends over at Goose Island. After that is over, I'm going to plow into a Little Risk, which is their session stout, also from Goose Island, out of my Goose Island cup. So
he's all about the branding tonight. I really enjoy it. And just for you, my Sox.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right,
Jim,
Treasy, what are you drinking?
So I had to go. It's opening day. You got to go Sox. You got to go Sox Ale, man. So I went with that.
We got to do the tilt.
Oh yeah, you got to get
like My Sox Summer. Got to get that. Got to get that brand in.
Branding, and over branding. I love it.
Hey,
this is really good.
We didn't get here from not self promoting, Josh. So we have to do it.
I respect the game, and I'm afraid to ask Beefloaf because in your past podcasts, it's drinking whatever I have left. That fishbowl that you had a few weeks ago during your guys' video reminded me of Wando's in Madison, Wisconsin, where I most nights only remember walking into the bar. A lot of times I don't remember walking out. And they're all about the fishbowls there. And that's what your blue Kool-Aid fishbowl reminded me of. So I guess I'll have to ask, what are you drinking out of your liquor cabinet tonight?
All right. So tonight I wanted to keep it scotty just for you.
Oh, nice.
Josh Nelson. And you told me many times, you said, absolutely everything gets mixed with squirt in Wisconsin. So I have a ton of squirt on my desk. I'm using my Sox Machine mug to drink it, so no one knows. It's secret. But I've got tequila and squirt in here. It tastes delicious. I'm probably going to just stick with this the whole night. I almost went fishbowl for you, but it's not an entertaining enough color. The UV blue vodka that I used the other time, now that was a really cool color. If we get something, a red or a pink, maybe next time I'll bring out the fishbowl for you.
All right. That sounds good. Is that a tequila sunrise? Or is that a cheap version of tequila sunrise?
It is a cheap version, right? Because a tequila sunrise is tequila, orange juice, and then like grenadine. I don't. Do you have anything red there to just throw in there, Beef? To just.
I do not, unfortunately.
So it's just do you have a sour?
I'm not opening up a vein on this show. Well, I could if you guys really want me to. I wasn't planning on it tonight.
A little shop of horrors, just the finger, just the drop.
Just the drop. That's right.
Well, these past couple of weeks, people were doing crazy things from the 108 tournament. So it only makes sense if you did cut yourself to drop blood into your drink to make the audience very happy. But Beefloaf, you had the recap video. The 108 tournament is over, and you're already telling people to continue with the memes and the engagement with White Sox Twitter. So with quite a few people watching a live stream right now, what are you looking for in 2022 for those that weren't able to participate from the 108 tournament? What can they do this season to be involved next year?
Oh, okay. So this is good. Like a very quick primer. Number one, follow all of us in the 108 so that we can kind of pay attention to and see you. We generally follow back, except My Sox Summer. He's a prude. and if you
follow people back,
if you want to talk White Sox stuff, don't just trot out the same old things that everyone else does. I put a bunch of people in there that I thought they didn't have a lot of followers, but they at least come with a kind of a different perspective, not just hot takes. They're paying attention and they notice something. There's a lot of smart White Sox fans out there. Don't be afraid to let it out. If you're less worried about the whole, deep thinking about the White Sox, just be funny and be fun. Be funny in a non-mean way. Okay. You can be mean to your friends. Like we're all mean to each other, but not to your random stranger out there. That's not going to earn you points. We don't go for the bad boys. A couple of them we do, and then they get stomped out in the tournament when we give them their own bracket. But otherwise, just be fun and funny with each other. That's all. That's all you got to do. And we'll take notice. I mean, I'm out there all the time. Treasy, My Sox Summer, we're paying attention to all this stuff. You know, even on Instagram, My Sox Summer will peep Instagram, and that's how he found Jimmy Vanicki a while back when we got him in the tournament last year. He's like, this guy's hilarious on Instagram. Him and his wife do all these videos, and it's funny. We put him in there last time, and he's just a joy. He's hilarious, and he does a lot of cool stuff on video. So all that stuff. Just pick your angle. I mean, not everyone wants to be a goofball on video. You can make memes, whatever. So anyway, it's all about fun, engagement. It's all about sharing our audience with everyone else on Sox Twitter if you're having a good time.
And if you get in, spend as much as possible on Cameo, because that was endless entertainment for me.
What was the craziest cameo you guys saw from anyone in the tournament to get votes?
So there's three that stand out to me as like really over the top cameos. And so one was Matt and Amy Nommensen got
Joe
Ganascoli, who is Vito from The Sopranos, and he delivered one hell of a speech for them, and then almost like clipped a car going out backwards.
Yeah,
and then Senor Sox got Evan Stone, who's an adult performer who looks a little bit like My Sox Summer.
Oh, that's really nice of you to say that.
And he did this whole bit, and then at the end, I don't know how this was negotiated, but he sang to My Sox Summer at the end of it. And then the last one was Janice got that guy who puts like porcelain plates and stuff on himself and like rips off the tablecloth, and then there's the 108. They'll vote for Janice in the 108 tourney. So like those were the three that really stood out to me. Although I was hoping that Garfien would go far in the tournament and people would pay to have Garfien do cameos against himself. That was what I was really hoping for, but that never came to fruition.
No.
Oh my god.
He had a bad matchup early on.
He did. He had a tough one. Tough three-way for your old Jim. So, or not Jim.
We
yeah, Jim was in there too.
Yep.
Jim had
I was also
Jim had a tough three-way. With a lot of tough three-ways.
Yeah, Jim had Jim. That was the death group right there that Jim had in the first round. Chuck,
was brutal.
Layla, him. That was tough. But
Jim, I'm sorry. I apologize. All right? I know we're face to face now. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Nick Garcia's taking Tim Anderson to hit a home run tonight, plus 570. Those are pretty good odds. How do you guys feel about Tim Anderson hitting a home run tonight?
Oh, that's our guy, Nick, man. Love Nick.
Nick's a good dude.
So I'm out on this one. So I think with the the bigger West Coast parks and a guy who throws 12 miles per hour, I think it's going to be tougher for Timmy to really like kind of drive the ball deep. I think Timmy could go like 3-4 hits tonight, but I think that he won't put anything too deep.
All right.
Just because he said that, Tim Anderson's hitting a home run tonight, so I would take that. I would definitely bet that. Yep.
We always fade Treasy. You got to fade him on Eloy's 74 home runs. You fade him on Nomar Mazara hitting 3 home runs in the next 5 games. Whatever he says, fade it.
Did Mazara hit any home runs today? I was really rooting for it.
The first comments from Detroit Tigers bloggers were, "Oh my God, Nomar Mazara is terrible."
I love it.
Yeah, which I mean, it's the first game. There's 161 more left to go. So enjoy that. Detroit.
Worried about, yeah.
I'm sure. It's currently 8:30 right now. We're about 30 minutes away from opening day for the Chicago White Sox. Again, I'm Josh Nelson alongside Jim Margulis, the Sox Machine. We are with My Sox Summer, Chirizi, and Beef Loaf from the 108. We're going to be with you guys all the way to the first pitch of tonight's White Sox game. And when it comes to opening day, I have to ask, and I'll start with you, Chirizi, what are your opening day traditions?
So I have a very simple tradition of not working. So like, and I try and schedule this no matter what. Let's say opening day is like it is today, a Thursday. I always take the next day off. And now partially because I might get sauced and then like really need a day off, but more so because if the game is canceled for any reason, that next game is usually like during the day, and like I would not get to see it. Like I'd be in meetings or something, I wouldn't get to see it. So I always try and just make sure that I have the cancellation day off as well. I mean, I think in this case they do play tomorrow, but nevertheless they probably go doubleheader, and I'd miss one of the games. So like I always do that. I always like as soon as the schedule comes out, like I'm taking days off in the following year. And taking a couple days off in April, your boss is never going to care about that if you do it long enough in advance. So that's what I do, and that has been an opening day tradition for the past 15 years.
It's a smart strategy, especially hopefully Boston Red Sox fans took your advice because they got rained out today and they're going to be moving their opening day to tomorrow on Friday. So yeah, that's a very sound strategy. And the White Sox next week with their home opener being on April 8th, they don't have a game on Friday, April 9th. So are you going to have the same strategy? Are you going to have back-to-back Fridays off?
Well, for the home opener, I'm off Thursday through Monday. Nice. Because I know that the first Sunday soak is going to be devastating to my body. So I'm just like, I can't work that next day. So I have a lot of time off for that one.
Chirizi, that's the Sunday soak powered by Goose Island, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Jim, how about you, man? Do you have any opening day traditions?
Well, when I had a day job, I'd always take the day off. Like I didn't work Monday, so when opening day was on Mondays, I was fine. But midweek, I would take it off. But usually, working, slinging content as I do, usually opening day, the day before, is just a lot of work. Like a lot of writing, a lot of trying to get stuff down, especially since I lost power for 3 days a week before. That really threw me off. So it's just been catch up all week to the point where like once the game starts, I can finally relax and kind of get into my normal workflow again. So opening day is it's fun and it's enjoyable, and it's nice not to have to plan any content around idle days and lack of baseball and lack of seeing baseball. So now I feel like I'm good to go. But yeah, usually opening day is just a lot of work and a lot of running around, and I usually crash pretty soon after the game, just out of exhaustion.
Well, that might be 1 a.m. tonight. Yep. So that'd be a good time to crash. How about you, My Sox Summer? What are your opening day traditions?
We never went. We were 2 hours west. I grew up 2 hours west of Chicago, so we never went to opening day. My first MLB game was actually Cubs opening day, but that was like when I was the only in my adult life opening days I've ever gone to have been on the beef deck right up by the stadium with my pops. So that's been our go-to tradition since 2012. So I had never met Loaf and Chirizi on New Year's Eve and promptly blacked out and didn't remember any of meeting them both. And I walked right down to their house on Pat's house or Loaf's house right on opening day, and then walked in, and the rest was history. I mean, look at us now. We're not only best friends, but we're one heck of a podcast, blog, hot tub crew. So
hot tub crew.
And it just took twisting.
Jackets, it's like satin jackets that say that.
Hot tub crew.
Those will be made like before the end of the month. Since you suggested that, Jim, the light bulb went off in My Sox Summer's head. We'll have
there's my birch idea for you. We're exchanging here.
Appreciate it.
Jim's just trying to get one for free. I know Jim's kidding. Jim's like, I gave you the idea, and now just give me the jacket. I love satin. You should surround yourself in satin as much as possible. That's what I've always been told.
All right, Beef. What is now typically for opening day? If it's a home opener, you are the one that's having the big party, and having partaken in that, it is quite the party, and the catering is absolutely outstanding. So if you ever get an invite to the beef deck for the White Sox home opener, you have to take it because you will eat very well. But other than that, do you have any other opening day traditions?
No, I mean it's materially that. I mean, I've been in this home since 2011, but we bought the home in May, so it was a little bit after opening day. And so, as my Sox Summer mentioned, from 2012 to 2019, we've had opening day parties here. I don't know, we get 50 to 60, 70 people here before the game. Sometimes too many people here after the game. We have to start like trying to kick people out so they're not here all night. Punky's on 26th and Wallace generally caters it. And I try to tell people, do not bring any booze. I have plenty of booze, and I always get people bringing tons of booze, which is why I was drinking UV Blue vodka on our podcast recently to try to get rid of all this stuff that I've got in excess. But no, it's just mostly like family and friends type stuff that we have for the party, and it's grown over the years, and it's a lot of fun. Just people hanging out, and it's like a reunion. You know, it's like you're getting your family back together because you got your baseball family going again, and so that's mainly my tradition. If I could for a second, I'd like to dovetail off of what Treasy said about taking the extra day off, because one year the Sox home opener did get zapped. And so we had the party, but there was no game and everyone went home. And Treasy and I went to that game the next day, and it led to one of the most fruitful 108 moments of all time. We go to the game. We are, having fun, partying. We decide after the game to go with our cousin to the bullpen bar. And, next thing so about a week later, Treasy messages me, and he just messaged me a picture. He doesn't say anything in the text or anything. And it's a picture of me and Southpaw pointing at the camera out in the parking lot. And Treasy's like, I don't remember taking this. And I'm looking at him like, I don't remember being in that. I don't know when that's from. And apparently it was from that opening day that we lost.
Like the wildest thing about it is that trying in my mind to piece together how that possibly happened, because we were at the game. There was no one at the game. And then we went to the bullpen bar. So this is like maybe 30 minutes, but probably closer to an hour after the game. And you could see in the picture, there is nobody else around. Yeah. I don't know why Southpaw was just out there. Was he like hitchhiking home, or I don't know. And I don't know what happened to him after that. Like we left poor Southpaw there all alone in the cold with no ride.
Well, it's like usually when you're in that state, you're thinking you're next to Southpaw and he's nowhere around, and the picture is just one guy pointing with his arm like that, and nothing's happening. So it's backwards.
We did get this question from David, and Treasy, I guess you and I can address this because this is starting to build up, especially for those that are getting their vaccines. And I've already got my first shot. I get the second one in a couple of weeks. Jim, I think you're already taken care of.
I was a hipster.
You're a hipster.
Good for you, Jim.
I've seen everybody getting out. I'm not impressed.
So David's asking, any thought to a Sox Machine from the 108 get together, like the brewery event, assuming COVID restrictions continue to loosen? And I think I still have the notebook somewhere. I have to find it after moving, but we do have plans. We have a great blueprint that we were so ready to have in 2020, and it went to hell real fast. But I guess we should tell everybody that we do have a plan. We're just waiting for things to get back to normal, and we are allowed to have 50 plus people at a bar.
Yeah, and I'll say, so the last big one that we did in person with everybody was at Reggie's, and I thought it went really well. Like the sound was great. We were able to, everyone seemed to be able to hear what was going on, but also have a good time. And then we went downstairs, and I think we were there till like 2-3 in the morning. It was a great time. And through the pandemic, we have been in touch with them so that, as we come out of this, they're ready to host us again. I know for some game watches that Buffalo Wings and Rings is on board. So we've got places lined up already. We've got all the pieces there. We just need this fucking pandemic to end is what we need. Sorry for swearing, but it's been a long time. So I think, we're just going to be careful. We want everyone to be safe. We don't want to rush into something and get people sick because, we need to get together. We can wait. So we're just going to wait it out. We're going to make sure that we're doing everything right and that it's safe for all of you to come and we get to see all you again in person. It's close. So we have it on the schedule. We're looking forward to doing it. just bear with us for a little bit longer.
And speaking as far as being together, fans, this is going to be the first time since the 2019 season that the White Sox are going to be playing in front of fans. And Jim, for Lucas Giolito going on the road, this is kind of a homecoming game for him. He said that he'll have some friends and family in the stands, not as many as Andrew Vaughn will have over the weekend. Do you expect that to have any type of impact on Lucas Giolito and the White Sox going on the road and this time playing in front of fans?
I imagine it'll have some kind of cumulative effect just because, last year was so odd. Although I should preface that by saying I was completely wrong about how I thought fanless games would go. I thought games would go a lot faster because I just remember the fanless game in Baltimore. The game just sped by because there was no in-game production, no fans to hit with foul balls. Just the game cruised along, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a year of faster pace and play. And then it actually slowed down. It was the slowest season ever. So I'm kind of bracing for it. If fans back in stands, does the game crawl even more, and does that knock some pitchers out of rhythm or make them work slower or something like that? I think Giolito, when he's cruising, he seems like he's more or less possessed out there and paying attention to nothing. So yeah, I can't imagine it having a big effect. I think it might have something more for fans, or I should say players of teams that just, I would say maybe the Detroits, the Baltimores and such. I'm kind of curious, teams that weren't expected to drawing as well as say the Dodgers. I'm wondering if that'll have any effect, just based on the fans not being a factor in the grand scale of 162 games. But I think independently with pitchers, given the way they're not supposed to hear anything when they're focused, I think it'll be more or less fine for them.
Yeah, today's Pittsburgh Pirates Chicago Cubs game lasted 4 hours.
Unreal.
And the Pirates won that game 5-3. So it wasn't like it was a barn burner the Royals and Rangers. Yeah. So that's very crazy. But beef again with the fans now being allowed in attendance. The Chicago White Sox are still on track on having fans allowed. I think it's anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 fans will be allowed to go to games at Guaranteed Rate Field. And I'm sure there are a lot of fans that are excited to see you guys again in the 108. And will they be allowed to? We're going to find out on how secure your bubble is going to be in that corner of the stadium. I know purchasing a 20-game plan that your section was sold out. I put in quotation marks because there's limited tickets in each section. So I could only get my tickets in section 110. So I'm a couple sections away from you. But for you guys, the ones that everybody goes and has to stop by and say hi every White Sox game, what are your guys' plans and thoughts of returning back to the stadium for the 2021 season?
Yeah, this is interesting.
Don't do that.
I was going to say this is an interesting topic because I guess Teresi and I have been extremely cautious, I'd say, during the pandemic, where we've kind of not left the house much at all. I've got one shot. I'm going to have one more very soon. But even after that, I'm not sure we really want a lot of hugging and kissing just yet. We kind of want to let this thing go a little bit more. So if you see us, feel free to scream and yell at us. But, stay a little distance. We'll get to a point where we'll get some elbow bumps and, and then we'll be hugs and kisses, later on when we get a little closer. For now, let's just, let's keep it a little bit of distance from each other. We can celebrate.
Yeah. If you're Nick Madrigal away, you're too close. if you're Georgie Marasan away, you're about okay. Let's just use human beings to do that. And we got it. I think everyone will get it and we'll be fine.
And
I'm okay with anything, honestly. I mean, I'm not. I like when they say this and they're like I'm out there like mask free, running around surfing, and I'm not. I actually have been protective, but I have ventured out more than they have.
You got a little more active lifestyle. You got no choice.
Yes, I do. I took off. I did not go work out until October. So when we were done with baseball and the Sunday show, because I was like, I don't want to get in a tub with these guys if I'm at a gym, because people are still weirded out, So, but no, I've been pretty safe too. But I'm a little bit more okay since getting the shot. But I've felt less afraid when I see people not wearing a mask. like, and not as angry and wanting to punch them as I had before. So now I'm like, okay, he doesn't wear a mask, but I'm wearing a mask and I have like partial, immunity. So we'll see. But yeah, no, I'm ready to get back into in-person conversations and chats. Like Josh, you were just over the other day. You were masked up. Thank you very much. We were outside, thank God. And you watched my kids just running around like crazy banshees. But I'm ready to just like be with people again. I'm tired of the same 4 people that I see all the time, and it's just like I need to get out and just like be among other people. No, they're tired.
I'll be honest, they're tired of you. I was gonna say,
yep, they're tired of me
tired
too.
of you.
Everyone's tired of each other. Like we're doing good, right? And it's fine, but it's like, listen, we need to go out and like figure it out. Like remember the Seinfeld when Kramer was like, they sit down and they ask you about your day. And then like by the end of it, they're just like, go get kidnapped, get some new stories, and that's where we're at. We're at the go get kidnapped and let's have some new stories to talk about because we can't keep talking about the same stuff. So I'm ready.
But you did participate in the fast pitch contest a
did.
couple days ago. How did you do?
I threw a 50. And I apparently the last time they did it was I think it was 2019. I don't think they did it last year, and it was like 17 degrees below zero the day that we did it, and I threw a 43, which I was reminded by their media guy or their marketing guy when I walked up there. He's like, dude, you threw better than last time. And I was like, yeah, well, it was only like 2 miles an hour more. He's like, no, you threw 43 last time. And I was like, you son of a bitch, Mike Downey. And so anyway, I did better, and I was like, working, like I was throwing in the backyard and I wasn't like going crazy, but I was like working, and I was like, you know what, I could probably do faster if I could figure this thing out and actually like had somebody to play catch with. So I made my kid like, I'm like, you have to learn how to catch this fastball, and I start throwing at her and with a glove and seeing if she can catch it. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? You're 2 years old. Let's go. You should be catching this ball.
Well, Jim, you used to pitch, didn't you, back in high school? So if you did the fast pitch, do you think you could beat 50?
Now I probably with one good one. I just don't think I'd have a second one. Rusting my arm. It's probably, I would say like I worked in the low 6. I was a control pitcher. I was, my grandpa was, his approach to Little League was that kids are afraid to swing and kids are afraid to field. Throw strikes, put the ball in play, just prey on their fear. And so that's how my game was oriented. I threw strikes. I had an ugly batting stance like Chuck Knobloch to not strike out. I did not strike out. I probably batted like 600 just because I hit grounders, but grounders left side are singles basically until like prep 13. So yeah, I was a star.
I like how Jim's like, I probably batted 600. That's like such a soft flex. Like no big deal. Like
yeah.
Hey,
I didn't make my high school team because I had no tools. I was pure skills, no tools.
So you were like the regular Ted Williams of like little league. So that's great.
And then like I tried out for a high school team against 100, about 100 kids, and made a couple cuts but didn't make the final one. Just like, oh yeah, I don't throw hard. And I'm 5'10" and 120 pounds. I got nothing. So
that's a good topic here because we're about 12 minutes away from the first pitch. Again, if you just tuned in here, welcome to the pregame show. I'm Josh Nelson alongside Jim Margulis of Sox Machine, My Sox Summer, Beef Loaf, and Chirizi from the 108. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, we're just 12 minutes away from the first pitch between the Chicago White Sox and the Los Angeles Angels, the first game of the 2021 season for the White Sox. And I haven't gotten a chance to read all of your predictions this year, Beef Loaf, and you are a coward and refused to list your prediction on Twitter, what you thought the win-loss record would be for the White Sox. Chirizi, we mentioned yours on our last episode, 96-66, the beast as far as win-loss record. I like that type of optimism. And I know, Beef, you and I have gone back and forth quite a bit on the over-under for Vegas. Obviously, the local sports books are trying to take advantage of White Sox fans' optimism. At one time, it was over under 92.5 wins, and I just thought that was a little bit too high. While the books outside of Chicago, Vegas, and New Jersey specifically, they were at 91.5, and some books were at 90.5. With the final line being 91.5 before opening day, where did you fall between over, under for the White Sox win total in 2021?
I fell strongly under, actually. And
Strongly under.
It was kind of funny. I saw a lot of people talking about, the Fangraphs projection went down to 84. And to be honest with you, I would bet two handfuls over 84, but I also would bet under 91.5. I actually did bet under 90.5. The blog will come out tomorrow with all my AL Central over under win loss. I think this team without Eloy Jimenez, I think people are underestimating how badly the loss of Eloy is. Everyone's looking at it from a strict WAR perspective, but what they're doing is they're cherry picking small sample sizes of, Luis Garcia was this good for 20 games, so let's project this over 5 months. And that's not how it works. And usually what ends up happening is you have way more downside on those plays than you do upside. Like you don't usually get lucky and get Tyler Saladino's 2013 season or whatever year it was, where it's like came out of nowhere and hit 13 home runs and we're like, whoa, this is a real guy. And then the next year he was cut pretty soon. Like that, you don't get a lot of those. Usually what you get is something that someone starts getting more and more exposed. They lean further and further. Next thing you know, they're a half win. They're a win below replacement. And it's like, wow, we thought we'd only be in the hole a win and a half here, and we're in the hole 4 wins. And so I think that's kind of underestimated there. I still think, though, this team wins the division. I think they win the division with a high 80s win total, because the more I looked at the Twins and thought about their depth, I just don't think they're that good. Like, I think they're built nicely for the regular season. I just don't think they have who's your upside play on that team? Who's a guy who you think will has a good shot to outkick what they've done traditionally? I mean, the only guy we came up with when we were doing a little discussion about them, my Sox owner brought up Miguel Sano. That's a guy who, if he stays healthy and everything clicks, that's a guy who could be a monster, right? The rest of these guys, I don't see the upside. So while they have a nice, solid team, I think they're probably not a threat to finish below 500. But I'd also be shocked if they won like 93 games. So, I still think the White Sox win it in a slugfest.
You have a lot of fantasy experts still trying to sell people on Byron Buxton. And Buxton had a huge home run today. He did, traveled well over 460 feet. But he's no stranger to the injured list. And eventually he'll find himself on it. Same thing with Miguel Sano. So I'm with you, Beef. That's why I have the White Sox finishing the year 90-72, winning the American League Central, and I don't have the Twins going to the playoffs because I have the same concerns that you do, that while everybody points the fingers at the White Sox for their depth issues, I don't see the Twins in a much better situation than the White Sox, and the White Sox have the stronger bullpen, so that's why I'm giving the White Sox the edge. My Sox Summer, I didn't see your win-loss prediction, so what do you got for the 2021 White Sox?
Inside my head, I'm like, they're less than 90 wins, but I also don't think it's going to take 90 wins to win the division. I think our division is going to get whooped up. So I think we're good. Now, with the loss of Eloy, like I said in our podcast, he's expected. I think you said something about somewhere they said there's going to be a 4-game difference. But we forgot that we have Roger Bassard, the sod father, and he's worth a 2-game wins. So we're only losing 2 games out of that whole deal. So it's not really that big of a loss, but still, I would take under on that. I don't think they're.
Hammering the over, guys. I'm hammering.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I'm not one that really goes out on the limb all the time, so I'm more of a safe bet than Chirizi, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Beef, you know where you and I differ on this is, like, I think you think the Tigers are going to be okay. And I think the Tigers are going to trade any bit that they have, and they're only going to win like 40 games.
They won today. They whooped Shane Bieber's butt, man. They won. That is hit an Oppo taco. That's the team, man.
Train to Matt Boyd being on another team. That's what I'm waiting for.
I'm trying to figure out when Jimenez needs to come back in order to get a 74 homers. Like 74 and 74. If he has 74 games left, he could do it.
He's a favorite actually to do it if he comes back at him on the
I was thinking, he missed the first 100 and then we get it from there. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little more optimistic, I guess. I'm a little more optimistic.
Well, we got about 6 minutes left to go before tonight's game between the White Sox and the Angels for opening day. Thank you to everyone that has been watching the live stream on youtube.com/Sox Machine. Also subscribe to the From the 108 YouTube channel as well at youtube.com/From the 108. But it's time to play Picks to Click as far as who you think will have the best game for the White Sox tonight. And Jim, I will start with you. Who is your pick to click?
I'm going with Larry because
Yes.
he has the tendency to annoy people when he's most visibly in the lineup in a way that's upsetting to fans. So he's got the knack for knowing when fans are talking about him and shutting them up for a day. So I'm going to go with him.
All right. My Sox Summer, how about you?
I'm going to go with another favorite, Mr. Collins, because he knows that if he doesn't do really well today, he will not get to play for another 3 weeks. So, it's all or nothing. So you got to make it count when you can, Zach.
All right. That's a good one. Kirchhoff Dressel, he's got 2 home runs. So he's backing you up.
It says dongs, Josh. Dongs.
Double dong.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a 2-donger.
All right.
Evan
Beef,
Stone
who do you
special.
like?
All right, so we were in a clubhouse chat last night, and I predicted the final score of tonight's game is going to be 8-2 Sox, and Luis Roberts going to hit a home run. So Luis Roberts, my pick to click tonight, coming through big.
Nice.
Oh, nice. All right, Chirizi, how about you? Who's your pick to click?
This is special for Beef Loaf. Opening day special for Beef Loaf. Nick Madrigal, 2 doubles tonight, and 4 hits.
Wow.
I hope so, because he's on my DraftKings team. I was looking at DraftKings. Danny Mendick was more expensive than Nick Madrigal.
What?
So signing me up.
Treasy, how many of those 2 doubles does Nick Madrigal get thrown out at third on?
Just one.
Oh, just one. Okay, just wanted to check.
And the other one
still on key right there.
The other one, Justin Upton falls down.
Okay, wonderful.
All right, well, I'm going to go chalk. I'm going to go with Jose Abreu. He's going to be wearing Eloy's red glove in his back pocket. Hopefully that gives Abreu a little bit more magic, a little bit more power tonight. And I think he'll hit a home run off Dylan Bundy. And, Beef Loaf has already said that the White Sox should win 8-2, and we're just a couple minutes away, again, from opening day here. And to sign off, let's go ahead and make our predictions for tonight. Jim, I'll start with you.
Well, I want to say a crazy score just because whenever you see in an NFL predictions on a newspaper page or something like that, it's always traditional scores like 27-20 or 17-14 and ends up being like 32-5. So I do want to go off the board a little bit. My gut's saying 5-3 just because you have 2 decent pitchers on them. One good pitcher, 1 decent pitcher, and so it should suppress it. But let's say 11-5 White Sox.
11-5 White Sox. All right, my Sox Summer, how about you? What's your prediction for tonight?
The numbers that popped in my head were a 5 and a 1, so I'm going to go Sox 5, Angels 1. So, with a victory, with a W.
That means Giolito has pitched a very good game. And Chirizi.
I'm gonna use Jim's thing there. We'll go football score. We'll go 7-3.
7-3.
Yes.
All right. So you got the over for tonight's. I think the run total between the White Sox and Angels was 8.
You got to parlay that -1.5 with the over.
If they'll let you.
I'm kind of going in the direction that my Sox Summer has gone. I think tonight is the night that Lucas Giolito really starts his campaign and his path and winning the American League Cy Young in 2021. I have the White Sox winning tonight 6-0. I think Lucas Giolito and the White Sox bullpen will shut out the Angels in the first game, and we'll see how the folks in Anaheim react to Joe Madden because they're still a little shaky after what happened last season, and they're still very unclear of what's going on and who's coaching the pitching staff with Mickey Callaway still being away from the team. So I think the White Sox take advantage of it tonight. And I think Lucas Giolito is absolutely dominant. And I think he'll get into the 7th inning, obviously with the White Sox focusing on his pitch count and not getting too crazy before the White Sox bullpen completely shuts down the Angels. So We all think the White Sox are to win tonight, so fingers crossed they do come through. It is time now for the White Sox 2021 home opener. For those that are living within the region, the game is on NBC Sports Chicago. For those that are outside of the Chicagoland area, check MLB.tv. But I'm Josh Nelson, alongside Jim Margulis of Sox Machine, and also alongside our friends, My Sox Summer, Beef Loaf, and Treasy from the 108. Enjoy the home opener, and thank you so much for watching this special edition Sox Machine Live.